Oh, that shirt is awesome.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, seriously, Thin Lizzy, boys are back in town? That's
Okay.
hilarious.
I mean, I actually like Thin Lizzy.
That's so meta.
That was a clip from a little movie called Having Fun Up There, released in 2014.
Written by Frankie Frayne and Jeff Torelli, a musician who's been in a few different bands.
Frankie also directed the movie. The plot centers around 37-year-old Mark, who struggles with the fact that he's never really made it in the music industry. Because of that, he struggles a lot based on the fact that he is all in on his music and he takes it extremely seriously. He has a hard time with relationships, has a shitty job at a coffee shop because he never finished college, has a drinking problem, and to top it all off, his band doesn't seem to want to take it as seriously as he does. He is just so absorbed with his music that it's the only thing that matters to him. It's a story that is playing out with so many musicians around the world right now. Once the movie started, I immediately noticed the intro music. What a great song.
The force field that I built myself was functioning on full. I had my friend.
The music was written by John Northrop, and it creates the right atmosphere for the movie. I would classify it as alternative or indie rock music, which fits perfectly. We open with the scene at a kid's birthday party, who we later find out is Mark's nephew, Neil. Mark is sitting in a lawn chair in the yard listening to his Walkman, while Neil gets an amazing gift, his first guitar.
Honey, happy birthday.
Wow, this is great. Now I can really play.
He's been wanting one of those ever since he got that Guitar Hero game.
Suddenly, I remembered when I got my first guitar when I was 13. It was a gift from Santa on Christmas morning, and I can still remember that feeling of elation and excitement seeing it next to the tree. That started my guitar and music gear addiction, and I've never recovered. It's then mentioned by a family member that Neil is gonna attract all the girls playing guitar.
Hey Neil, once you learn how to play that, you'll be beating those girls off with a stick.
This awakens Mark from his trance-like state, laughing at the idea that being a musician gets you laid. He then goes on to explain to Neil why he should probably choose a different career.
Neil, look, you like science, right? You like science? Be a scientist. Just go out and research stuff, for God's sakes.
I want to be a rock star.
All right. Neil.
The rock star is dead, man. Like Jim Henson or the Muppets or some of the Muppets. I don't know. I don't really speak the whole kid thing. You know why girls don't like guys who play in bands?
Why?
Because you spend all your time with a bunch of other dudes in small rehearsal spaces and you smell real bad.
You're drunk.
Remember when you were a kid and I would read you that story about the little boy with the magic carpet, the one that would go anywhere in the world that it wanted to, right? You know that one? That guitar is the exact opposite of a magic carpet.
I remember this talk well because I got a similar talk from, well, who else? My mom. She didn't outright tell me not to pursue music as a career, but she did tell me to make sure I had a plan B in case it didn't work out. It didn't really stop me, although I have had a job of some kind since the age of 16. Cut to a 60s throwback band playing in a bar and everyone is just conversing, not really even caring enough to pay attention to the performance.
Hey, we're Hobnail Boots. You guys ready to dance? Are you with us?
Unfortunately for me, I know this feeling all too well. Honestly, unless it's a fairly well-known band, people are coming to the bar to drink and to socialize, not to watch the band. It happens even more if you're an original band like mine and not a cover band. After a scene of Mark working at his shitty coffee shop job, we cut to Mark and his band at band practice. The first thing I noticed was the nice rack. No, not that kind of rack. Rack gear. There was some nice stuff back there. Then I noticed the vocal setup with the Friedman technique. That's an old miking technique as far as vocals, but it's still used on guitar speaker cabinets. In layman's terms, the technique is you have one mic straight onto the source and one mic at a 45-degree angle right next to it. This captures two different sounds from the same mic stand, which gives it a really cool and unique sound.
Then I noticed the poor microphone. I assume an SM58 or some kind of clone of it. It was dented like some of the mics you see use it at smaller venues. Usually it's because someone threw it down or dropped it. This is why I say don't mic drop. Mics are expensive. They finish the last song and start to discuss when they will practice next. They can't really agree on a day, and this really frustrates Mark.
All right, so we just gotta nail down a date that works for everybody, or else we're just gonna disappear in like 2 months.
Yeah, exactly.
What works? Fridays?
No, Fridays suck. I think I can do Tuesdays at 3 p.m. most of the time.
Johnny, nobody on earth is free Tuesdays at 3 p.m.
You are.
He's giving me shit. Go kick his ass.
If Tuesdays are good for everyone, I don't want to fuck that up. I can do like 18th.
Jeff, Tuesdays are good for nobody except piss flaps here. And the 18th is like weeks away. Gowl. Quit playing with your dick and help us nail down some time.
I don't have a set schedule for my new job yet.
All right then, I guess. I mean, guys, that's it. You heard him. Gal's indefinitely unavailable. Band's over.
I just can't give anything for a few weeks, man. What do you want?
So, we just gonna rehearse over the phone?
I've been here many times before jamming with people. With people like this, the schedules never seem to line up, or they keep making excuses for why they can't practice. Fast forward to where Mark goes to talk with his friend Neil, who was until recently a signed touring musician, but left his record deal and had some interesting things to say about it.
What happened?
We ain't working for the boss man no more.
Did you do something?
It's probably more what we didn't do. We had this 2-record deal, and I think they wanted us to sound like Nickelback or some shit like that.
So did you just refuse? Just walk away?
Yeah, it was clear that they weren't going to put out our second record, and we weren't going to take their bullshitty notes either. So no, it wasn't straight out getting fired, but you know what? It's all bullshit anyway, because you do think that there's like this second level that you can get to, but then you get there and a lot of it was a fucking headache, man.
I mean, it couldn't have been all that bad. I mean, you were out there, you were touring.
Oh, it was a lot of...
I'll tell you what, man. I mean, after so many years in the hot beverage industry, I probably would have rolled over like a good little boy, played Stevie Miller cover bands and a fucking accordion instead of doing what I do now.
I mean, 2 years living on the road, it was still mostly living in vans. Aside from the equipment they bought me, I'm mostly broke. I can start looking for a job tomorrow. Tell me if there's any fucking positions at your coffee place.
After his discussion with Neil, we see Mark finishing up playing a show at a local bar. The venue owners offered to pay them in drink tickets instead of actual money. This actually happens more than you think. Some bar owners will insist on paying you in anything but actual money. Business people especially don't value musicians and music, so they'll try to get out of it as cheap as possible. I mean, look at the Spotify CEO saying that music is basically free to make now. The problem is, if you hire me or my band to play a show or write music, you're not just paying for that one song or that one show, you're paying me for the years of practice it's taken to be able to play proficiently and to have the expertise to do it correctly and accurately. While they're tearing down, Mark talks about not being able to hear anything in the monitors, and oh man, I've been there.
Oh, well, that fucking sucked.
Wasn't that bad, dude.
Bullshit.
Hey, I really liked your set.
I couldn't hear shit in the monitors.
Thought the energy was good at least.
Fuck energy. We're sloppy as hell. What we need to do is pick a tempo, stick to it. I don't know, maybe rehearse more than once a fucking month. You know, on the first and second Tuesday when there's a full moon an hour and a half after sunset.
In fact, I played a show last year where that same thing happened with my band. If you're not a musician or an audiophile, you might not know that without in-ear monitors or wedge monitors, you can't hear much on stage. In my case, all I could hear was my drummer and myself a tiny bit. This makes it really difficult when you can't hear 3 out of the 5 instruments on stage. Mark is then approached by a woman. She reveals that her name is Carrie. Carrie tells him that she is a big fan of all of his music and has listened to it for a really long time. This
You're Mark
sparks a
Kessel.
friendship between them.
You were in Crankshaft, right?
Holy shit. We broke up like 12 years ago. What were you, like 2?
My brother had all of your records. Seriously, everything you guys put out on Sandy Handy.
Oh, God, that fucking jerk-off distributor? Oh, they gave us the Sandy Handy, all right. So wait a second, you guys have all 3 of those?
Yep, I have both LPs and the You're Drinking Ruined Mom's Birthday EP, plus various demo tapes.
Fuck, I don't think anybody had a copy of that EP. I don't think I even have one.
I can't tell you how much that means to have even one person who is a fan of your music. It makes you feel good and makes you feel like what you're creating is worth it outside of just because you love it. Some time passes and we go to Mark, who's sitting and talking with his sister and her husband. She asks him if he's gonna find another job because he recently got fired from the coffee shop. After some explanation from Mark, she cuts him off and says, "As long as it doesn't conflict with one of your shows, right?" She explains what any creative type learns in adulthood, that most adults pursue their creative interests in their free time.
I got a couple of different temp jobs lined up for the next few weeks while I try and find more permanent, gainful employment.
So long as it doesn't conflict with any one of your shows, right? Do you know what this is?
Shitty birdhouse.
It's art, okay? And I made it. And do you know what art is? It's a thing that people do for joy. And most people do it after they've done the work that keeps them clothed and fed.
Now, as much as I would love to just play guitar and write music most of the day, I can't because I have kids, a wife, and a full-time job that I have to take care of first. That's one thing Mark has to learn, is that at this point in his life, he can't put his music before everything else. The whole thing to me was he was taking his music super seriously, which to a point you should do, but it's not really good to take it that seriously when it's not your full-time job. There's a moment where Mark and Carrie are in a guitar shop. She starts talking about his more obscure tracks that now exist online. This brings up an important lesson for everyone, but especially musicians. The internet is forever, and it doesn't forget. Someone is gonna re-upload your material, and when you do something crazy or stupid, people will remember. Even if you delete it, it's very likely someone already screenshotted it or saved it, so it never really goes away. Mark makes the comment in here that MP3s are overly compressed and sound like shit, which they do. I personally prefer WAV or FLAC format files.
But it sounds so shitty, it's all compressed to hell.
The point isn't for the highest fidelity. It's like you just window shop.
Is there a difference? I don't know. It might be a placebo. They meet up with a group calling themselves the Idea People that Mark and Carrie have taken a session job for. They remind me of some people I've met in the past. There's people you'll meet in music who talk a big game and tell you all about their ideas and all their great musical aspirations. The problem is they're never actually gonna do it. Or alternatively, they do, but they can't play well enough to execute on this huge grand vision they have. They're just all talk and no action, which just drives me nuts. They start to play their song. I use the word song lightly because it's barely a song. So they played the most pretentious bullshit I've ever heard. Although I did get a kick out of EJ playing guitar on a phone app, that was great. This brings up a bit of a hot button topic: outside songwriters and bands. Now, a lot of people like Mark are very against collaborating with other songwriters. I don't mind it. It can give you ideas for parts and arrangements that you very likely wouldn't have thought of otherwise. And it's always good to have someone who's objective either way. Many times with music, you're too biased to see many of the problems with it because you're just too close to it. And a lot of times you don't even realize it. This movie captured many of the exact feelings most musicians have out there just trying to make it. It's not only a great movie for musicians to watch, it's a good movie for anyone to watch. The story and themes it covers are relatable to anyone, even if you're not a longtime musician like myself. Give it a chance and you won't be disappointed.